Hello and welcome to Warblog. Today I'm going to play the First Liberian Civil War. This is I'm not going to play the whole thing, it's just an introductory preamble, a few turns, a brief overview of what's happening. Essentially, the First Liberian Civil War actually lasted from 89 to 1997, and this only encompasses the first stage. To be quite honest, there's a lot of these things I'm still learning about the civil, these battles. Interesting. Min Hoi is on the wrong side of the border. I wouldn't worry about that. Anyway, so essentially, it's an interesting history. I'll just go through it very quickly. Essentially, like Liberia, obviously, is part of Africa since Africa was there. But it was a principal source of slaves for the Americas, and after the American Civil War, they essentially used Liberia as a return point for slaves. And ironically, if you look at the video link for the scenario, which is by Vice, you will note that it was, that Monrovia was named after President Monroe, and they sent all the slaves back to Liberia, and ironically they used the principles for plantation that they'd learned in America to enslave all the Liberian natives, and that continued all the way up until the election, apparently, of Doe. What's his name? Doe, basically Doe. Can't remember his name. Charles Doe, I think. Charles Doe. Samuel Doe. Okay. So basically Samuel Doe put an end to the slave trade, which was kind of ironic because that was in 1989. Anyway, so Charles Taylor actually was in a US jail and he escaped, which is a bit odd. He came back and basically here he is up here. I was going to put him on as leader, and I probably will put him on as leader, but this is his company. Now, he basically went to this place, which is Ivory Coast, and got together 100 soldiers. So that's his 100 soldiers, and basically he enters into Liberia. And there you go. Well, how much movement has he got left? 2. So we can possibly take him up there. Yep. Movement left, no, so that's a nice convenient entry into the game. So he basically comes down, and it's just a bit odd really, because you've got this what sounds like a great president or prime minister who's elected. Apparently he was quite harsh on a lot of the people, I don't know. But he's basically going to overthrow the president, who is down, the prime minister is down here, and essentially the objectives here represent the Nimba County. Nimba County is actually sort of pretty much this area here. Essentially, all the objectives here are in Nimba County. Now, this is on the wrong side of the river, so I'll probably deal with that, get rid of it. It shouldn't really be there. So either the road goes this way round, or I'll have to adjust that. But basically, this won't be there when you play it. I'll just get rid of it, I think. But basically, you've got to take all of these objectives. Now, all of these ones here, this is where the sort of battle sort of ends. This is where the campaign in theory ends, when Taylor's forces are sieging the Gabarana city. But I wrote the game, and I'd sort of assumed that the whole thing was, coming from Liberia, coming from Ivory Coast, fighting through all of this and taking Gabarana. But what they actually did almost, pretty soon after that was to take Monrovia. Now Monrovia should be about here, but I missed it out, so I've cheated and put it down there. It's a few factors outside of what you might call normal margins of error. I just messed up with the map really. I didn't realise that. I didn't realise Monrovia was part of the short-term, strategic sort of thing that happened. I thought basically it pretty much ended there, but this is happening sort of May and this was June, so I've included it now. So basically, you've got to fight through, take Monroe, Nimba County, then take Gabbana City, and then take Monrovia. Everything else is sort of in or there. You can take things. It's really just to give you an idea of what happened. The only thing to say is that it is really, by all accounts, by reading Wikipedia, incredibly gruesome. They didn't just liberate places; they were taking heroin, fighting naked, and killing everyone. Thousands of people were slaughtered. Both sides slaughtered thousands of people, and they would eat them. When Charles Taylor captured Samuel Doe in Monrovia, apparently, maybe I'm misreading this, he ate him, tortured him, and then ate him. And they would kill small children before battle and drink their blood and go into battle. So this whole thing, this whole Liberian Civil War, is really has a sort of a horrific or horror dimension to it. Now, this gameplay only goes from basically Christmas, I think 24 December when Taylor comes in, up until May when they take Gabbana City, June when they take Monrovia. After that, the NPFL sort of split and several sort of factions split, and basically the whole thing takes on a different angle. It goes on for another 7 years. So that's certainly not covered in the scope of this game. This is really just from the Christmas. Basically, it's just the first 6 months of the Civil War. So essentially, we've moved into there. So we'll see what happens next. Now, I mean, I've only really just put this together. Now, essentially, got some extra troops there. The only thing I can get a firm grip on is the Liberian 1st Infantry Battalion, which is this one here, which once Taylor comes in, they send this further up. Not sure whether these are too close yet, but they're responding to this southern invasion, so that's them. And we've got the Palace Guard will stay there, so we've done that right. So as Taylor comes in, he starts to essentially, and that's wrong. I should be somewhere up here. It doesn't matter anyway, but that's wrong. So as soon as Taylor comes in, he starts to basically get several thousand. Now I've sort of interpreted that as being 3,000, which is about 15 companies. So he's going to get 15 of these. So there's 3 of them. There's 3 a turn, and then there's another one. So there's 16. Duplicate one. So let's just maybe try and that's that. So and I'm going to keep this guy on this side of the border. Now I'm presuming that the NPFL can use Ivory Coast, but the Liberians can't. I mean, at this point, it looks as though the government troops are quite that's interesting. I think I've got these objectives around the wrong way, which is a pain. Maybe I can do this some other way. I'm getting government to go first. I'll have to go and swap them all around. They're the wrong colour, so they've already gained all their objectives, so there's no point in doing that. Anyway, it's just an introduction. So, going to end their turn. And as you can see, they're sort of getting more and more troops. The government troops are now not looking as strong against this unit. So I'll get the objectives now. So already, we can do things like this. I mean, although he's not strong enough, he's certainly in jungle will be stronger than this unit, which means that he can pretty much defend himself. Move. In fact, let's go into Mongolay. Yep, that works. Let's keep them doubled up. So already we've got enough to create a front line here, but not enough to start attacking. One of the things that interested me about this game, when I sort of put it together, I thought this is good because it's lots of little units. You get used to sort of playing with big units, regiments and lots of big numbers, and it's the same thing. If you've got one or two, I mean the odds, it's a little tight to get odds, but that there's still strategy in that. I mean, there's a big three. I mean, three is not a big unit, but in this game, it's the biggest unit on the board. Other than Taylor himself, who I've given a very generous score to reflect his significance in the game and also speed. So that's that. So we've created this little line. I mean, ideally I could maybe play this for another turn, but I don't think I will. I might. I'm not going to do it with objectives like they are. I could go and sort that out. So essentially, our attacking into there will be 1 to 2. So already the government forces are compromised. I mean, already I'm considering leaving the first in Gabana City to try and defend itself. And as you can see, more rebels. The other thing I wanted to say about this, and I think I might have touched on it, I was thinking about it. Just, I'm pointing there at the screen, obviously you can't see me. Use the mouse. Obviously the objectives, which are not working at the moment, but they're a little bit more on the objectives. One of the things, they weren't just taking these towns, for example, liberating them. I mean, they're actually murdering everyone. So what they're actually doing in there is probably going around. I mean, you just have to start looking at the videos and see what they did. But I don't really understand exactly what the appeal was. I mean, presumably weren't murdering absolutely everyone, but presumably government supporters or people like that. But in a lot of scenarios, you think, well, we're taking this objective, but in this case, I think taking the objective it also includes killing all the enemy. So anyway, we've got a lot more there. So I'm just going to sort of start moving the counters really, because not a lot of time left. And see, now he's entrenched. It's quite interesting really, because now you can see that the Liberians have their army appearing, their armour, their mechanised units, their artillery. So even so, it's still a tight game. Neither side really having enough to. This artillery is a bit stuck, isn't he? Okay, there's only half a minute left, so I'm sort of going to leave it at that. But hopefully I give you an introduction to the first Liberian Civil War, first 6 months. At least you should know where Liberia is now, in proximity to Ivory Coast and the other places. You can play this as well. I'll speak to you later. Bye.